Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister urges political parties to not turn session of Parliament into battleground for frustration born out of defeat. Says focus should be on policy and not slogans or engaging in drama. External Affairs Minister Jaishankar pushes for a Global South consensus on biosecurity as India hosts conference on 50 years of biological weapons pact. NIA raids at several places in Kashmir and Lucknow linked to Red Fort car blast case. Raids aimed at dismantling networks involved in supporting terror activities. US President Trump says peace talks going along well after US-Ukraine talks in Florida. Says there is a good chance of a deal. Special envoy Steve Witkoff heads to Russia. Trump confirms call with Maduro without divulging details as US expands surveillance capabilities in Venezuela's neighboring countries. Caracas launches investigation into US boat strikes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi appealed to the opposition to focus on delivering a productive parliament session for the people. He said India has lived democracy, strengthened faith over it. Prime Minister was briefing the media ahead of the commencement of the winter session of the 18th Lok Sabha at the Parliament House this morning. He called on the opposition to raise relevant and strong issues.
कोई भी दल हो, हमें किसी को भी हमारी ये नई पीढ़ी के आ रहे नौजवान सांसद, पहली बार आए हुए सांसद, उनको अवसर देना चाहिए। उनके अनुभवों का हमें सदन को लाभ मिलना चाहिए। इस नई पीढ़ी के अनुभव सदन के माध्यम से राष्ट्र को भी लाभान्वित करेंगे और इसलिए मेरा आग्रह रहेगा कि हम इन चीजों को गंभीरता से लें। ड्रामा करने के लिए जगह बहुत होती है, जिसको करना है करते रहें। यहां ड्रामा नहीं, डिलीवरी होनी चाहिए। नारे के लिए भी जितने नारे बुलवाने हैं वो पूरा देश खाली पड़ा है। जहां पराजित होकर के आए वहां बोल चुके हो, जहां अभी पराजय के लिए जाने वाले हो वहां भी बोल दीजिए, लेकिन यहां तो नारे नहीं, नीति पर बल देना चाहिए।
Taking a dig at the opposition over the recent Bihar election drubbing, he urged all parties that the winter session should not become a battleground for frustration born out of defeat, nor should it turn into an arena for arrogance born out of victory.
कि पिछले कुछ समय से हमारे सदन को या तो चुनावी का वार्मिंग अप के लिए उपयोग किया जा रहा है, या तो पराजय की बौखलाहट करने को निकालने के लिए उपयोग किया जा रहा है। अब मैंने देखा है कुछ प्रदेश ऐसे हैं कि सत्ता में रहने के बाद इतनी एंटी इनकम्बेंसी है कि वो वहां जनता में जा नहीं पा रहे हैं, वहां लोगों के बीच जाकर के अपनी बात बता नहीं पा रहे हैं, और इसलिए सारा गुस्सा या सदन में आकर के निकालते हैं और सदन को अपने उस राज्य की राजनीति के लिए इस्तेमाल करने की नई परंपरा को कुछ दलों ने जन्म दिया है। अब उन्होंने एक बार चिंतन करना चाहिए कि पिछले 10 साल से ये जो खेल खेल रहे हैं, देश स्वीकार नहीं कर रही है इन पद्धतियों को, तो अब थोड़ा बदलें अपनी रणनीति बदले। मैं टिप्स देने के लिए तैयार हूं उनको कैसे परफॉर्म करना चाहिए, लेकिन कम से कम सांसदों के हकों पर तराप मत लगाइए, सांसदों को अभिव्यक्ति का अवसर दीजिए।
Prime Minister welcomed the newly elected Vice President C.P. Radhakrishnan, who presided over the upper house for the first time, while the lower house was adjourned till noon as soon as it began its proceedings. The government has already signalled that a discussion on SIR per se would not be possible, as it was an administrative exercise being carried out by the Election Commission. Winter session will conclude on December 19. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar stressed on strengthening biosecurity for the Global South as India hosts the 50th Biological Weapons Convention Anniversary Conference in New Delhi today. Addressing the event, Dr. Jaishankar said India emphasizes the need for Global South to shape BWC's direction and underscores its sustained commitment and strengthens in health and bioscience sectors.
The Global South is the most vulnerable and has the most to gain from stronger biosecurity. It also has the most to contribute. Its voice must therefore shape the next 50 years of the BWC. India recognizes this responsibility. India remains committed to full and effective implementation of the BWC. Over the last 2 decades, we have built strong capacities across public health, pharmaceuticals, vaccines, and biosciences. India is known for a reason as the pharmacy of the world.
Dr. Jaishankar added that India has built robust biosecurity resilience with strong research institutions, advanced biosafety facilities, and a private sector capable of scaling, innovating, and reaching global markets.
India makes 60% of the world's vaccine. India supplies over 20% of global generic medicines, with 60% of Africa's generics coming from India. India is home to nearly 11,000 biotech startups, up from just 50 in 2014. Now, it is the 3rd largest biotech startup ecosystem worldwide. Our health care investment has grown sharply with major progress in digital health. Our research network, ICMR, the DBT labs, the advanced BSL-3 and BSL-4 facilities, they can detect and respond to a wide range of biological threats. India's strong private sector has amplified this resilience. It has demonstrated an ability to scale production, to innovate under pressure, and managed a global outreach.
Thailand Foreign Minister Sihasak Wongketkiao is in India on his first official 4-day visit. He will meet External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar at Hyderabad House for bilateral discussions. The External Affairs Ministry has termed the visit as an opportune occasion to strengthen strategic partnership and enduring civilizational ties. In April, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in Bangkok, Thailand, to attend the 6th BIMSTEC summit. During his visit to the Southeast Asian country, PM Modi added new vigor to the bilateral friendship between the two nations during a meeting with his Thai counterpart Petongtang Chinawat by elevating the bilateral ties to a strategic partnership. Tesla CEO Elon Musk has defended the H-1B visa program, saying that US economy has greatly benefited from Indian immigrants. He made the comments during a podcast with Nikhil Kamath. Musk said the United States needs highly skilled workers from India more than ever before, while also criticizing some outsourcing companies for misusing the visa system. He said America has gained enormously from Indian talent. Musk added that his companies constantly struggle to fill specialized positions because there is always a shortage of talented people. His remarks come at a time when the H-1B program under President Donald Trump's second term has acknowledged the need for skilled foreign workers, but has also taken a stricter regulatory approach. The National Investigation Agency today carried out a series of coordinated raids across 8 locations in South Kashmir in connection with the Red Fort car blast case. As part of the ongoing investigation, an NIA team raided the house of Maulvi Irfan in Shopian, who has been identified as the alleged mastermind behind a white-collar terror module. Another raid was conducted at the residence of Jasir Bilal in Kazigund, Kulgam district. In addition to Shopian and Kazigund, NIA teams also conducted searches in several areas of Pulwama district, including Koil, Changam, Malangopara and Sambora. According to officials, the raids were aimed at dismantling networks involved in supporting terror activities through covert and financial channels. Digital devices, documents and other materials were reportedly seized during the searches, and a few individuals were questioned on the spot. India's Border Security Force is celebrating its Raising Day today, honoring the world's largest border guarding force. The day celebrates the legacy of bravery, sacrifice and dedication, recognizing the BSF Academy as a training ground where soldiers are molded into tough heroes. It was on December 1st, 1965 that the first sector of the Punjab frontier of the BSF was raised, with its headquarters in Jalandhar. A grand ceremonial parade marking the Diamond Jubilee celebrations was held at the BSF campus, Bhuj, Gujarat on 21st of November. Jammu Frontier received both the Maharana Pratap Trophy for Best Border, while Management and the Ashwini Trophy for Excellence in Sports and Training. And in fact, Home Minister Amit Shah has extended warm greetings to BSF personnel and their families on their Raising Day. In a social media post, he said that the force is synonymous with fiery patriotism, which has always upheld the honor of the nation and shielded the well-being of the citizens with Himalayan resolve and steely valor. He added that the undying flame of patriotism they have kept alight with supreme sacrifice will continue to show the path to generations of Indians. He saluted the brave hearts who made the supreme sacrifice in the line of duty. Every winter, the northeastern hills of India come alive with one of country's most colorful and culturally rich festivals, one among which is the Hornbill Festival. The festival is beginning today at Kisama Heritage Village, around 12 kilometers from Kohima, Nagaland's capital. The Hornbill Festival, organized by the State Tourism and Art and Culture Departments, it is named after the state's cherished bird, also known as the Hornbill, featured in several folklores. The Hornbill Music Festival is known as the India's largest music festival. It encourages inter-tribal interaction and cultural displays that amalgamate into a vibrant and colorful event like no other. The 2025 edition promises to be as vibrant and engaging as every year, providing a rare window into the lives of Nagaland's tribes through dance, music, crafts, sports and local cuisine. And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Vilnius airport shut again after suspected balloons enter airspace. India intensifies rescue efforts under Operation Sagar Bandhu, deploying helicopters and NDRF teams across the hardest hit regions of Sri Lanka. Rio lights up the season, giant Christmas tree dazzles Botafogo beach.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
You're watching DD Live. I am Siddharth Bharadwaj. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio described Sunday's meeting between US and Ukrainian officials in Florida as very productive, noting that work still remains to end Russia's conflict in Ukraine. He said there are many moving parts involved and that Russia will also need to be part of the process. The talks focused on ongoing military and humanitarian support for Ukraine. Special Envoy Witkoff is set to travel to Moscow on Monday, where he is expected to meet Russian counterparts for further talks this week. Ukrainian Secretary of the National Security and Defense Council, Rustem Umerov, also highlighted the success of the meeting. Listen in.
We had another very productive session, building off Geneva, building off the events of this week. As I told you earlier this morning, our goal here is to end the war, but it's more than just to end the war. We don't just want to end the war, we also want to help Ukraine be safe forever, so never again will they face another invasion, and equally importantly, we want them to enter an age of true prosperity.
We were discussing about the future of Ukraine. We discussed all the important matters that are important for Ukraine, for Ukrainian people, and the US was super supportive. We already had a successful meeting in Geneva, and today we continued this success. So at the moment, this meeting was productive and successful. On the later stages, hopefully, we will keep you updated.
US President Donald Trump also said on Sunday that talks about a peace deal with Russia were going along well, hours after Secretary of State Marco Rubio met with Ukrainian officials and expressed optimism about progress despite challenges ending the more than 3-year-long conflict.
Well, they're going along, and they're going along well. We want to stop people from being killed. Doesn't have much to do with us, but I'd like to see if we could save a lot of souls. A lot of people are being killed.
Have you spoken with Rubio and Witkoff since
I have, yeah. I've spoken to them, and they're doing well. Ukraine's got some difficult little problems. They have some difficult problems, but I think Russia would like to see it end, and I know Ukraine would like to see it end.
Lithuania's Vilnius airport temporarily halted operations on Sunday due to suspected balloons in its airspace, the latest in a series of flight disruptions in the Baltic nation. European aviation has repeatedly been thrown into chaos in recent months by drone sightings and incursions, including in Copenhagen and Brussels. The Vilnius airport has been closed at least 10 times since early October. The Baltic country accused Belarus of allowing smugglers to use weather balloons for contraband cigarettes, calling it a hybrid attack. In response, Belarus President Lukashenko condemned the border closure as a crazy scam and accused the West of waging a hybrid war, creating a new era of division. US President Donald Trump confirmed that he had spoken with Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, but did not provide details on what the two leaders discussed.
We consider Venezuela to be not a very friendly country. They sent millions of people, really, and probably a number in excess of that. And a lot of those people shouldn't be in our country, from jails, from gangs, from drug dealers, from all of the people that came into our country shouldn't have been in our country, causing a lot of problems.
Does your warning
and drugs.
Does your warning mean that an airstrike is imminent, or should we not read it that way?
Don't read anything into it.
The New York Times reported that you had a phone call with Maduro. Did you?
I don't want to comment on it. The answer is yes.
And can you tell us a little bit
No,
about
I can't do that.
Mr.
Would
President,
you say it went well?
I wouldn't say it went well or badly. It was a phone call.
Earlier on Saturday, Trump said the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela should be considered closed in its entirety, but gave no further details, stirring anxiety and confusion in Caracas as his administration ramps up pressure on Maduro's government. When asked whether his airspace comments meant strikes against Venezuela were imminent, Trump said, "Don't read anything into it." Trump said he would look into whether the US military had carried out a second strike in the Caribbean that killed survivors during a September operation, adding he would not have wanted such a strike. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has said the strikes are lawful but are intended to be lethal. Maduro and senior members of his administration have not commented on the call. Sri Lanka continues to grapple with one of its deadliest natural disasters in recent years as the death toll from Cyclone Ditwa's aftermath has risen to 334, with 370 people still missing. The storm, which made landfall in late November 2025, caused catastrophic flooding and landslides across all 25 districts. President Anura Kumara Dissanayake addressed the nation and assured that the state of emergency will be used to speed up relief and recovery. The India's weather department said that the cyclonic storm Ditwa is very likely to move nearly northwards parallel to North Tamil Nadu, Puducherry coasts during the next 24 hours. Red alert has been reduced to orange alert, meaning heavy rains with light thunderstorms are likely in 1 or 2 places in Chennai. In fact, India has intensified rescue efforts under Operation Sagar Bandhu, deploying helicopters and NDRF teams across the hardest hit regions of Sri Lanka. INS Sukanya entered Trincomalee today with relief materials. Last batch of Indian passengers stranded in Bandaranaike International Airport in Colombo have reached home. IAF helicopters evacuated a total of 400 stranded passengers. These included over 30 foreign nationals from countries such as Germany, South Africa, Slovenia, the UK, Poland, Belarus, Iran, Australia, Pakistan and Bangladesh, along with Sri Lankan citizens. Meanwhile, Venezuela's National Assembly will form a special commission to investigate US President Donald Trump's deadly strikes on suspected drug trafficking boats off the Venezuelan coast and in the Eastern Pacific Ocean. The congressional body's president, Jorge Rodriguez, said the investigation would look into Washington Post report that said US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordered all people aboard on one of the boats to be killed during a strike in September. Rodriguez said they are going to carry out a rigorous and deep investigation, adding that the country's prosecutor's office would be involved. And let's see what's happening in the world. Colombia's Coconuco village has been placed under orange alert due to possibility of Purase volcano eruption. The Purase, located about 600 kilometers from Bogota and near the city of Popayan, is one of the most active and closely monitored volcanoes in Colombia. In March 1977, it experienced a significant eruption. Aston Martin owner John Williams' 900-pound James Bond DB5, bought in 1973 and left to deteriorate on his driveway for decades, has been fully restored by Aston Martin Works. The 4-year project returned the classic car to showroom condition, now valued at around £1 million. Rio de Janeiro ushered in the Christmas season on Sunday with the unveiling of an 80-meter high Christmas tree on Botafogo Beach, drawing thousands of spectators who applauded as the towering structure lit up the night sky. The tree, equivalent in height to a 30-story building, features 2.3 million LED lights that create dazzling color combinations and patterns. Beyond traditional Christmas greens and reds, the display depicts Rio's natural beauty, including representations of the sun and sea. Thousands of visitors flocked to Prague's medieval Old Town Square this weekend as the city unveiled its annual Christmas market, featuring a 15-meter tree from the Pardubice region. Dozens of wooden stalls offered handmade decorations, mulled wine, sausages and sweets, creating a festive atmosphere that draws both locals and international travelers. Time now for some sports news. Virat Kohli's record-extending century powered India to a nervy 17-run win over South Africa in the first ODI of 3-match series in Ranchi on Sunday. A stunning century by Virat Kohli, a 50 by Rohit Sharma and 4-wicket haul by Kuldeep Yadav were the highlights as India overcame a tough fight shown by Proteas. Putting India to bat first, South Africa paid the price as Virat Kohli, KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma took India to 349 for 8 in 50 overs. Sensational 50s from Matthew Britsky, Marco Jansen and Corbin Bosch kept South Africa's hopes alive after the visitors got off to a terrible start. However, Indian bowlers held their nerve in the end and bowled out South Africa for 332 runs. With this win, India take a 1-0 lead in the 3-match series. In football, India battled past Iran 2-1 in Ahmedabad on Sunday to qualify for the AFC Under-17 Asian Cup 2026. India needed a win in this match against Iran to advance, whereas the latter would have booked its spot in next year's tournament with just a draw. The victory has sealed India's 10th appearance in the continental tournament. Their best finish in the competition remains reaching the quarterfinals in 2002 and 2018. That's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.